Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This regular meeting of the Wayne Westland Community Schools Board of Education is now brought to order. It is Monday, March 22nd, 2021, and it's 7 p.m. On behalf of the Board of Education, we'd like to thank you for your attendance. To participate in the meeting during the citizens' comment portion of the agenda, you will have to raise your hand. The moderator will allow you into the meeting at that time. Please state your name. You will have 3 minutes to make your comments. We're going to begin the meeting with Pledge of Allegiance, led by Ms. Kimberly May. Ms. May?
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. May. Next item on our agenda, 763.20, is the roll call. Mr. Neal?
Yes, Mr. Buckaloo.
Here.
Ms. May.
Present.
Mr. Albrecht.
I'm present.
Ms. Hines.
Present.
Myself present. Dr. Weaver.
Present.
And President Cox.
I'm also present. Thank you, Mr. Neal.
All present.
Next item on our agenda, 764.20, has several different presentations. I'm going to turn the meeting over. Superintendent Dignan, will you introduce the individual presenters, please?
Sure. Thank you, President Cox and members of the board. I'd like to introduce Scott Toko, who's going to give a presentation of our K-8 athletics presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Dignan. Good evening, Board of Education in the Wayne Westland community. I'm going to be speaking tonight about K-8 athletics, some of the opportunities that we're looking to provide the students in our district in the coming year. Before I start, I want to talk about the four main points that everything I discussed tonight or in my presentation are going to cover. Number one, we're going to be providing opportunities for our students, more opportunities for our students. Two, the retention of our students within our district. Three, bringing students back to our district. And four, attracting students from outside of the district. And everything I discussed today in regards to the opportunities, we'll focus in on that. The current K-8 athletics, I'm going to outline what we offer right now. If you look at the K-5 space, it's limited. We do have some floor hockey opportunities at different buildings that they have started some leagues and throughout the district. It's not at every building, but they've taken initiative in some of the buildings to start those types of activities. Basketball is offered at Hicks, and I'm speaking to the principal there. When they do offer it, and during that time of the year, whether they have practice before or after school, the attendance is amazing for them. All those students are showing up. The 6-8 athletic opportunities at this point are pretty extensive. We participate in the KLA. We have cross country, soccer, volleyball. In the fall, in the winter, we have basketball, girls and boys, swimming, which is co-ed, and wrestling. Spring track and field, boys and girls, soccer for the boys in the spring. And the club teams we currently have are bowling and golf. The need in the district right now, the city recreation programs have vanished. Speaking with people that have been here for a long time, and just from my own knowledge of the programs that they were strong in years past. The Westland Bailey Center closed in 2012. The Wayne Community Center closed in 2015. The city recreational problems have never been replaced in many regards, which it hurts. It hurts our kids and the opportunities that they have. Club sports are costly. They're comparable, cost over $140 per kid. And a lot of our students living in the Wayne Westland area are going to other cities to participate in activities, Livonia and Canton. We are home to champion Little League football programs, the Meteors and the Comets. We're not looking to compete against them. We're looking to build partnerships with them and work together. And that's the goal of some of the things I'll talk about with the NFL flag as we move forward. We're losing our athletes. If you look at some of the rosters in surrounding cities with successful programs in Livonia, Belleville, River Rouge, Plymouth Canton, Cass Tech, all of them have players on their rosters from either Wayne or Westland. And sad, We want to get those kids back. We want our programs to strive and provide the opportunities for our kids to stay here and not have to go somewhere else. The feeder programs, which would help us build our high school programs, are what I'm going to be talking about tonight in regards to NFL flag programs and some of the opportunities we're going to put at the K-5 space, which is basketball and so on, girls and boys. Go ahead. NFL flag, it's a non-contact football league. Typically, the communities surround us, Livonia and Plymouth Canton, offer these, but they're offered by the city. We have exclusive partnership with them currently that we just signed that will only provide our students the opportunity. So students within our buildings, we're not going to be able to, any student outside of the district will not be able to participate. It'll be all our students in our district participating within our buildings. Currently, we're going to be hosting the Southeast region for the 7-on-7 flag, which is outside of the NFL flag program, which is a K-5 program, which will be hosting teams from 4 different cities at our facilities in the spring. The spring 7-on-7 flag football, which is co-ed, we'll be offering at all 3 of our middle schools for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. Currently, we have at least 1 team right now registered in each of our buildings, which will start competition April 23rd. The games will be on Friday nights when football should be played. And it'll start on April 23rd, as I said, and we'll rotate buildings as we move forward. So we'll be able to showcase our buildings and get our kids an opportunity to start playing on the high school fields. The next slide basically goes over cost analysis. I'm not going into detail with this, but I am going to point out that the whole program for the middle schools, covering uniforms, coaches, shirts, the custodial fees, referees, and so on, basically is equivalent to 1 FTE. So that's 1 student. So by offering this, if we can retain 1 student in our district, it pays for itself. So we really have to look at what our return is on our investment. And everything I talk about tonight, and when Mr. Spizak gets up here, we'll be talking about and comparing it to FTEs when we start talking about costs. The traditional flag football, which is going to be co-ed, which is going to be housed at in the 4th and 5th grade. We're going to start with the 4th and 5th grade this year. Every elementary team will have an opportunity, or every school will have an opportunity to house 2 teams, 14 players per each team. We hope that we can get, hopefully, 1 team. It would be great to get 2 teams the first year. I think that lead-in with the 7-on-7 will give us an opportunity to promote and market the program going into the fall. These games will not be played on Fridays. They'll be played on either Saturday or Sunday. It'll be a 6-week season, which will run through September to October. And we're going to, this program will play at Wayne Memorial and John Glenn too, giving the kids another opportunity to showcase and start to market our high schools, to give them another reason to stay. The cost analysis for this, if you look at it, same thing. If we go through the number of players, if we use 28 per buildings, which would be 2 teams, it's equivalent to $31,840, which is just under 4 FTEs. So by offering a program at all of our elementary schools, giving those kids an opportunity, it's equivalent to about 4 students if we retain them. So if you compare it to an FTE, it's a great return on investment. More fall K-5 athletics. In the fall, we will be offering, as I said, the K-5 NFL flag. We'll pivot right from that into girls basketball. So at the end of November, end the girls basketball season, going into winter break. After we come back from winter break, we'll offer a boys basketball season along with co-ed cheer. So we'll give them an opportunity from September all the way through March to participate in these activities that they didn't have prior to this. If you look at the cost analysis of this, the basketball, the 5-on-5, which will be offered at all 10 of the elementary buildings, equivalent to $28,780. That's our estimate, which is just over 3.5 FTEs. Once again, going back to FTEs, which is just under 4 FTEs in regards if we retain those 4 students. Cheer, 27,900, 3.4 FTEs. Like I said, just over three FTEs. If you start thinking about it as a return on our investment, I think we have to start looking at it that way, everything we do. Back to return on investment. We must be competitive if we're going to retain and attract students. We are losing students within our own boundaries who attend schools in other districts. We currently, and don't quote me on this number, we currently have close to 3,000 students in our boundaries, Wayne Westland, that are going to other schools. So I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that I want part of this, the district wants to attract those students back to our district. And hopefully we'll give them opportunities that they'll think twice about leaving. So the more opportunities is going to give them more reason to stay within our district. Flag football, we went through these FTEs. As I said, it's back to the FTEs, how much it's going to cost the district. If you look in the spring, it's just over 1 FTE, which is 1 student retaining. The 4th and 5th grade program at our elementary schools, just under 4 students if we retain them. 4th and 5th grade basketball and cheer, same thing as I mentioned before, 3.5 FTEs, and the cheer 3.4 FTEs. So if you see the FTE keep coming up, because we're thinking about how we're going to market our programs and keep our students here. Now, the funding, right now we can use 31A with the attendance behind it and Title IV. So we'll use a combination of that. So none of this at this point will hit the general fund. Parkside Dental, which Maria Mitter works very hard with, reaching out to the dentist. They're going to provide all our mouthpieces for the 7-on-7 in the spring, and we're hoping that will carry over to the fall. Future, I wanted to go just cover this real quick. The donations, we've been working with the Ralph Wilson Foundation. Hopefully we'll be able to work with them next year and even help us to fund more programs moving into the following year. Go ahead. Marketing. Jenny Johnson has been with me step by step throughout the program along with Maria Mitter. She's excited and can't wait to start marketing this. We've already sent out a survey. As I stated before, we currently have at least 1 team. I'm sure we're going to have more when our numbers come back in. Tonight at 12, the deadline for registration ends. If we could field a couple teams from both schools, that would be great. We met with the principals to gain building support. They can't wait. They're going to hold assemblies. They're fired up about just giving the opportunity to change the climate coming off the pandemic to give the kids an opportunity in April. Like I said, they're looking at doing assemblies in the school and recognizing the kids that are going to participate in and going to the games on Fridays. Social media posts, Jenny's talked about that after games, before games, when the kids are practicing before. So we really want to use this as a marketing tool for the district. District website, and included in Points of Pride magazine that she puts out. What's next? I know today I talked mostly about sports, but we really have to hit every student interest point. So as we move forward, I'll be up here as we move forward in the next year talking about our fine arts programs and other programs as we move forward. I want to thank the board and the community for letting me present tonight, and I think we're moving in the right direction. We want to give our kids as many opportunities and reasons to not leave the district, to stay. Thanks. Mr. Spizak will be talking about our new strength and conditioning rooms at both high schools.
Before Mr. Spizak, any members of the Board of Education have questions for Scott?
I just have a comment.
Melody?
Yes, I noticed in Wayne Westland District, especially like over in the Inkster area, I noticed River Rouge has bus stops in that area, and they're siphoning a lot of our kids. And a lot of our kids are going to the American International Academy. They just extended like 300 extra kids, and they building on over there. So that's where a lot of our kids locally are kind of between those schools.
I agree. And like some of these things we mentioned tonight, if we provide more opportunities, we give students more reason to stay. Like I said, everything that I discussed today, I know, like I said, it was athletic focused, but it gives them an opportunity. A lot of kids do make decisions based on that. They make them on how successful the athletic teams are at different buildings. And in some ways, you can't blame it. We are going to get better. With these feeder programs, it's going to enhance our opportunities to get better at the next level. We want to build a pipeline and have vertical alignment of all of our programs to be successful at the next level. So that's one of the goals.
And one more question too. I know one time I know Inkster High had a very successful sports program, and they would actually bus children over from Detroit. Would you guys ever think about doing something like that?
That's going to be your decision. I know that I know that a lot of school districts have done that in the past. I can't speak to that really exactly what we would do at that point. But you are right. There has been districts that do that.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, President Cox, Superintendent Dignan, and the Board of Education. Mr. Toko went through a wonderful plan for athletics for our K through 8 students. Tonight, I have the privilege to introduce the strength and conditioning centers at both high schools. Superintendent Dignan came to Scott and I, and he said, look, there's a couple things we need to do, and we need to do it right away. We need to retain, and we need to attract students to our district. And doing that, he said, we got to create pathways so that students have the opportunity to come from an elementary school through a middle school and a high school and see all the different things that we can give them. So tonight, with the help of TMP Architecture, Sornix Equipment, and a bunch of ADs and strength and conditioning coaches from different universities and our own staff, I have the privilege to share with you this wonderful opportunity that we're going to have tonight. So with that, in 2018, we passed a large bond issue. In that bond issue, we had renovations for our athletics. So we're getting new tracks and we're getting new football fields. We're also getting some improvements inside the building. So this is a two-tiered project. We're going to renovate the space within the existing spaces at the high schools. You may not know this, but the weight rooms, we like to call them weight rooms, the equipment in the weight rooms at Wayne Memorial is the same equipment that was there when I graduated in 1986. And it was probably there prior to that. My guess is it was probably put in there in 1980 when they built the Alumni Arena, and it's just kind of moved around ever since. The equipment over at John Glenn High School, with the exception of a few new pieces, is the same equipment that Chuck Gordon had there when we were winning state championships. Unfortunately, that equipment is not any good anymore. It is shot. So we'd like to present tonight an opportunity for all students for strength and conditioning, not just athletes. So with that, Mr. Dignan got us in touch with a whole bunch of interesting folks from different universities. I don't know how he knows the people that he knows, but we sat down with ADs from all over the place, strength and conditioning folks, and we started putting together an idea of what a strength and conditioning room would look like in our district. How would it help students, all students, not just athletes? How would it benefit the guy that's in the band or the girl that's playing tennis or whatever? And how we could promote that and create opportunities for our students. So, Mr. Dignan, your vision, kids first, is a wonderful thing, and we appreciate that. So Scott and I got to work. We started contacting different districts that already had some equipment. We got with TMP, and I wanted to show you kind of what the weight rooms look like now. Next slide. So Wayne Memorial is in the basement, cafeteria. As you can see from that photo, it's a very small space. Next photo, please. John Glenn had the opportunity to move their weight room into Gym 4, which is an auxiliary gym. They took up half of it. The other half is used for other activities. As you can see, there's a batting cage right above the racks. The flooring in there is shot. It's in poor condition. With the bond issue, we're going to replace all that stuff and we're going to spruce it up. So the next step was to provide new equipment. So what does that equipment look like and what is our vision? Mr. Toko mentioned a lot about branding. The new equipment will be completely branded with the school's logos on it and their names. You can just kind of go through the slides from here. The stations, the racks, suit up to 6 kids per activity. You can put 6 people on there doing different exercises at one time. It's equipped not just for athletes, but for anybody who wants to learn about fitness. Next one. John Glenn would be branded. Not only is the machines or the racks branded, the weights are branded. They're molded with our logos on it. So if someone steals a Wayne Memorial 45-pound plate, it's going to say Wayne Memorial on it. Both rooms will be equipped with the same type of equipment and the same amount of equipment, as you'll see when we get to the end of the presentation. The rooms will have new flooring, new paint, new lights. They will have new sound systems. They're going to be totally equipped to be more like going into a Planet Fitness than a weight room from high school. Dumbbells, I mean, you name it. Everything you possibly could have in a fitness room, it'll be there. They have cardio equipment. Just kind of roll right through them. Cardio equipment. They have. Scott, you want to come up here? He's the fitness guy. I'm the band guy, so it's kind of hard. I apologize for that. Now, if you look at some of this equipment, I mean, this is first-class, cutting-edge equipment. And when we talk about, Trustee Hines, you talked about getting people and doing. These are the kind of things. And I know, listen, we are completely academic focused in the district. We also know other things play a role in why students stay. If you look at this stuff, I mean, it's first class. It's something that, as a parent, as a student athlete, as a student, you look at and you say, that's something we can use to market and recruit, to keep kids here, to bring kids in, and get the kids that are somewhere else to bring them back, because they don't have these facilities other places. When I say this is first class, this is a first class strength and conditioning facility. At Wayne Memorial, if you go back one slide, the space that they're showing was at one time the dance room, auxiliary gym. We're going to pop some lights in there, some windows. It's a two-story area. As you can see, the large zebra on the one wall. There's baffles for sound. It is going to be state of the art. These conditioning rooms will be some of the nicest spaces you've ever seen in a high school. They will have their own entrances. They'll be marked, as you can see, that's illuminated with an LED light. It's a WM right on the wall. That's pretty strong. And then what we'd like to do is create, we call them pipelines, but we're actually calling them pathways. This has been a vision for a while now, where students can actually get in there. So through the programs that Mr. Toko just presented to you, and different other options, we'll be able to get kids into the buildings and see this stuff. So we know when they get to high school, they have the ability to use it. We're also looking at having after-school activities where students could come in and use that, or even the community. So tonight, we bring this to finance, and they get to see all this fancy stuff that we're working on, and then we just bring it to you to approve. You don't really know what we're doing. And Ms. May said it'd be really nice if you guys could come in and do a presentation like you do in the finance committee. So with bond funds, we will be renovating the spaces, and then we'll be purchasing equipment for both those spaces, a total of $463,000. They're actually about the same in price at both buildings. It's the same amount of equipment, and it totals 58 FTEs, as Mr. Toko likes to hit on at FTEs, but it will be a bond purchase. Any questions?
Questions? Mr. Albrecht?
Yeah, first, thanks for the presentation. But second, I really know what these athletic directors, coaches, and phys ed teachers have gone through. They prayed it didn't rain in this building and in the other building, just having enough space. This is going to make a big difference in our programs, both phys ed and the athletic programs. Thanking our community for the support so that we can do something like this.
Yeah, thank you, Mr.
Thank you, John. Anyone else? Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you, Mr. Toko.
Next, I'd like to, thanks, Tony and Scott, great job. I'd like to introduce Rhonda Lyons, who's going to go over kind of the reboundary of Hoover.
Good evening, President Cox, Superintendent Dignan, and Board of Education. Tonight, I'm going to discuss the boundary changes for Hoover Elementary because, as you know, it was decided that we were going to close Hoover at the end of this school year. And unfortunately, because of how we ended last school year with this, it kind of fell off the wayside, the discussion for moving forward and getting these boundaries taken care of. And I do want to start off by saying, whenever we change boundaries, it's never an easy thing because there's always a discussion potentially of this area and how you make all of these changes. So, but with the help of administrators and Mr. Spizak and Ms. Simmons, we were able to really focus in on doing a good job with changing the boundaries for Hoover. So with this next slide here, this here is the current Hoover boundary. And right now we have 157 students that would be transferred. Now the 157 students are students that are going to move up for next year. This does not count the 5th grade in this year. This is students moving forward. I also want to tell you too that this count does not include some of the students that are still on the virtual schedule. But those numbers, Ms. Simmons does have those numbers for scheduling purposes for staff. So she has those numbers, and those numbers have already been worked into the scheduling for doing the staffing. So these students will be moved between Roosevelt McGrath and Taft. This area right here that you see, this here is the Hoover boundary that we would like to move to Roosevelt McGrath. This is encompassing Annapolis, south down to Van Born, and Howe Road west over to the connection where the Roosevelt boundary connects to. This specific area, it's a small group, but there's a lot of students that are in this area. There's 60 students that are just in this neighborhood alone. And as you can see here, and this is current data for this month, the students, we have 12th grade, or excuse me, kindergartners. We have 12 kindergartners, 13 first graders, 10 second graders, 14 third graders, and 11 fourth graders. And again, this does not count for the 5th graders. And there are some students that are on virtual. So those counts are not included in this because I don't see those, but Ms. Simmons has those numbers. So those are the students that are going to move, would like to move to the Roosevelt McGrath area. And this would be the tentative count for the Roosevelt McGrath once we move the students. Again, these are just tentative numbers subject to change. And we use the kindergarten count for this year that Roosevelt has already, because again, we don't know what the numbers are going to be for the kindergarten roundup. So we just take and we use the current numbers to move forward with. So in looking at that, we're looking at potentially having a count of 323 students at Roosevelt McGrath. And the building has a capacity to hold 478 students for their program. So the building has enough room for the move. And this would be the new boundary. As you can see, it's pretty clear cut boundary with that one little section, and that subdivision area there, we do get a lot of students through there. It's single family homes. So we get kids in there, and that's been a pretty populated area for many years here in the Wayne Westland District. So this here is what the new boundary for Roosevelt McGrath would look like with this change. Now, this area here, this yellow area, is the area that we're looking to move to Taft. It's a larger area, but the area itself is, you have to consider that from Annapolis down to Howe Road, covers Franklin. It has the Franklin Middle School. It has Wayne Risa on the site. It may be a larger area, but it's not a very populous area. It's got a lot of different, it doesn't have a lot of homes on it, just as a larger area. So with the current count we're looking to move, we're going to end up moving 97 students over to Taft. And yes, it may be more moving to Taft than what we had at planned to go to Roosevelt. But we also look at the fact that Roosevelt, McGrath too, it sometimes can be a more transient area because of the mobile home parks that they also have. We have a lot of mobile home parks that funnel into the Roosevelt McGrath area versus what we have going to Taft, because Taft is a more solid area for single family homes. Yes, they have a couple apartment complexes, but the Roosevelt area is potentially a more transient area where we could potentially have a more fluctuating amount of students going in and out of it. So with that, the tentative change going to Taft Galloway would be a total of 350 students, and their building capacity is more than capable of handling that amount of students also, because their building capacity just with their current programs right now is 447 students, or yeah, for the building capacity also, even though the building capacities are actually higher than that, but to just have their classrooms that they have in there now, they have plenty of room in their buildings for those. And this here would be the new Taft Galloway boundary. Again, it's looks a lot larger, but you have to consider that it does encompass areas that, again, you have the middle school on it. You have an area that, you know, with Wayne Risa, areas that it's just, there's not a lot of homes on them. So pretty clean, very clean cut with it. So I would also like to state that with these changes, Hoover currently right now, as far as transportation piece goes, right now we have one bus that we transport students to Hoover with. And that bus has 41 students that we transport. Last school year, we had 2 buses. Because of the decrease in the students that were in that area, we were able to actually bring it down to 1 bus. That bus will then just shift over to Roosevelt McGrath to be utilized in that area. All of these students, though, that are being moved are going to be provided transportation, because they will now be a part of the transportation area for each one of the schools. And again, that wouldn't be a problem, because, you know, we would be able to absorb being able to transport them without any issues whatsoever. So, and again, I was able to work with Ms. Simmons as far as providing her with the information for the student counts, and, you know, so she can plan for staffing purposes for next year. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Ms.
Yes.
Hines?
Yes, I have a quick question. I know that Wayne Westland, we have like the 3rd highest homeless rate in the county, and I'm concerned about the kids over at Samaritas, and with the pandemic, how many kids do you account will come from there? Did you guys put that into the estimate, or not really?
We plan for the counts that are there.
Mhm.
If we need to accommodate more, then we accommodate. You know, we have more students than what we, you know, have room for. We would have to add another bus there. But at this point in time, you know, that area fluctuates, but we don't have that much of a. Luckily, we have not had that big of an increase to where we've had to really make significant changes in the transportation piece for that. So, but we do accommodate for that when we look at those numbers.
Thank you.
Other members of the board? Dr. Weaver?
Yes, Ms. Lyons, if I didn't misunderstand you, you're talking about 41 children on 1 bus. Has there been a change in CDC or MDE guidelines that I'm not aware of?
Let me clarify that. Those are 41 students that are scheduled on that bus, but you have to remember we're in cohort sessions. So that's what would be on that bus if we were on a normal schedule.
All
They
right,
are
thank
split in half of that. That is total population, that if they were to ride the bus, that's the total number of students that are scheduled on that bus completely.
Thank you.
Ms. May?
Yes, just wanted to follow up. When you spoke about the students in the virtual academy now and not having those numbers, if those students decided in the fall that they wanted to return to in-person learning, would they be able to attend either one of the schools that they're being potentially moved to?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. And again, Ms. Simmons has those numbers. It's just my system doesn't allow me to see those, because they are actually taken and turned off into a different track in the MyStar system. So, with that being said too, all of this information is already set for the schools to implement in the MyStar tracking, and to move forward in the data for graduating up and changing over for the next school year. All of that has been set up in the systems. It's just waiting to be turned on with the approval of the change for this. So the schools can get all this information. The MyStar support team has already been working and has all of this. And even the new street changes, the geo changes for the streets, those are already ready and set to be sent out to the schools once all of this goes into play.
Great. Thank you.
Other members of the board? Thank you, Ms. Lyons.
Okay, thank you.
Superintendent Dignan, next item on our agenda is the extended continuity of learning plan attendance.
Thanks, President Cox. Real quick, we have to recertify our extended continuity learning plan every 30 days. So this is just kind of a quick overview. You can click to the next slide. Real quick, student attendance and mode of instruction, we have to report out to the board every 30 days. So it's just kind of a formality that we have to do as part of the extended continuity learning plan. Click to the next slide. Just for the public and everything, the content posted to our transparency link can be found on our Return to Learn page. This is telling what kind of mode of instruction we're in, and also our attendance reports. And again, this for teacher, parents, and students. By the end of the school year, we have to post on our website the data from our benchmark assessments, which we did this mid-year reports in February. Click to the next slide, please. This is just a real quick synopsis of our educational goals. And again, this can be found on the Return to Learn webpage. Next slide. We'll continue in the current hybrid model. Again, the attendance and current mode of instruction is always enclosed in our board packet, and it's something that we have to recertify every 30 days. Again, information can be found on our Wayne Westland Community School District website under the tab Return to Learn. And again, we'll have a special board meeting on April 12th as a reminder. And I'll stop there. Any feedback, questions?
Any questions from members of the board? We'll be voting on this recertification following specific conduct in the agenda. Does that conclude the presentation?
Yes, it does.
Next item on our agenda this evening is 76520. It's citizens' comments on agenda items. This is the portion of the meeting reserved for people who wish to address the Board of Education on items that appear on the agenda. Is there anyone that would like to address the board on items that appear on this evening's agenda?
We do have one hand up. It is Eric Rose.
Okay, Eric, you have 3 minutes. Eric Rose?
Yes, thank you, Board. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Out of the 587 public schools we have in the state of Michigan, 80 are in person with regards to 5-day instruction. So the question I ask for you as a board as you continue to navigate these times is, what are the specific metrics that we have and benchmarks that will get us to the point of 5 days of in-person learning? We know that all of our staff and all of our teachers that have wanted to have received a vaccination. We know that when it comes to death rates for our kids, it is non-existent. Transmission rates, there is no information on that from kids to adults, teachers and staff. So I just want to know what is it going to take for us to get back to 5 days of in-person learning? Since most of the state, out of 587 schools, 80% of them are in 5-day instruction, including some of our neighboring schools. Many of them are back in in-person instruction for 5 days. We have schools like Benton Harbor on the west side that are in Birmingham public schools. We also have Centerline public schools and Chippewa Valley public schools and Clarenceville schools. We also have schools such as Dearborn Heights and other of these schools that are in person 5 days. I don't think we're answering any questions about what is it going to take for us to get back to in-person instruction based upon the current understanding we have now. I've not heard of any plans. I've not heard of any concrete thoughts. We all know that this virus is here. We all know how to live in it and live through it, and we see some better days to come, except the board needs to be able to articulate what does better days mean for our students to remain in-person learning for 5-day instruction. So far, in my aspect as a parent of a third grade student, it is going well. I know that there probably have been some situations with people having COVID or family members having COVID, but that's the natural aspect of life. And I don't think there's any data that our students are unsafe and are putting forth our staff and our teachers in an unsafe situation. So I would deem it very necessary for the board to have transparency and clear communication to be able to articulate clearly what does it take for Wayne Westland students to return back to in-person learning 5 days a week. And that ends my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board?
Yes, we do have one more hand.
Okay.
Michelle Sample.
Michelle, you have 3 minutes. Good evening.
Good evening, board. Few thoughts. You guys brought up a nice presentation on the sports conditioning or weights room. Appreciate that. Question in regards to the busing situation that you just were talking about, having 41 students on there. You're building this new sports conditioning. Is it going to be implemented this current year in the next couple months, or is it going to start next year? That's one question. Second question, if COVID is still around in the fall and we have this, what assurances do we as a district have for the kids and students that are currently in the sports right now for the remainder of the year? I regard that.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Because 2 sports teams at the high school level, along with their coaches, have all gotten COVID and have had contact tracing because they're going against the other districts. So what are we implementing now? I know the governor came up with a whole thing on Friday because the cases are on the rise due to elementary and school age sports. We need to crack down more on that. I do agree with Mr. Rose saying that we need to get back to 5 day a week. I think all the students are following the rules. For the most part, yes, all the teachers are vaccinated. We're all taking precautions. School and kids need to get back for the emotional support that they need and the educational, which is the farthest thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the board on agenda items?
Jessica West.
Jessica, you have 3 minutes. Good evening.
Good evening, board. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I wanted to say thank you for the presentation about the updates, especially as it relates to the millage funding. I guess I love the idea of expansion of sports and athletics and the facilities. I have a high school athlete and another upcoming high school athlete that will greatly appreciate those facilities. But I do have concern about the way that we use language about recruiting people to our community based on athletics. And I do understand that that is a portion of it, but academics, especially advanced classes and core classes, expansion of STEM programs are really important as well. I actually sat down with my daughter and tried to figure out what classes might be best for her. She's very interested in engineering and possibly law. And we found it really hard. We are a business focused school. We have a lot of programs that that are steered toward people who want to become a teacher or people who want to become, go into business and things like that. And we don't have a lot of things geared straight towards STEM. And so those types of programs and offerings, the advanced classes, the college prep is really important too. And I'm sure that that is a component that you're working on separately. It's just not presented tonight, but I just wanted to reinforce that I have I have 4 children, but 2 are very high achieving students. They've never received anything less than an A plus in their life. And when we look at the course offerings and catalogs, I'll be honest in saying that we have looked at other districts to try and better suit their needs, because I'm not confident that Wayne Wesleyan does. The TAG program absolutely suited their needs for a number of years, and have put them on the track that they're on now. But at the high school level, I can tell you that I'm not sure that it fully suits my daughter's needs anymore. And so please don't lose sight of the academic portion of it as well.
Does that conclude your comments?
It does.
Thank you very much. Are there others? Anyone else?
I'm sorry, there are no more hands, Mr. Cox.
Okay, thank you, and thank you everyone who did comment. Next item on our agenda this evening is 766.20, which is the recertification of the extended continuity of learning plan Superintendent Dignan had just gone over. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved
Second.
by Dr. Weaver, support by Mr. Albrecht. Is there discussion? Roll call vote, please. Mr. Neal?
Miss May,
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht,
Yes.
Miss Hines,
Yes.
myself, yes, Dr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo,
Yes.
and President Cox.
And I vote yes.
7 yea.
767.20 is the consent agenda. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Hines, support.
Support.
Support by Ms. May. Is there discussion? Roll call vote, please, Mr. Neal.
Mr. Albrecht,
Yes.
Miss Hines,
Yes.
myself, yes, Dr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo,
Yes.
and Miss May.
Yes.
I'm President Cox, lastly,
Yes.
and it's 7 yea.
Next item on our agenda this evening is 768.20, which is a student reinstatement resolution under B1. Mr. Neal?
Reading the resolution. Whereas the Board of Education for Wayne Westland Community Schools convened on March 22nd, 2021, to consider the petition for reinstatement filed on behalf of a withdrawn student B1, and to consider the report and recommendation of the reinstatement committee previously appointed by the Board of Education. Whereas the Board of Education is persuaded, for reasons set forth in the Reinstatement Committee's report and recommendation, that student B1 should not be reinstated to the Wayne Westland Community Schools. Therefore, it is resolved that the Reinstatement Committee's report and recommendation is hereby adopted by the Board of Education, and that, for reasons stated therein, the petition for school reinstatement filed on behalf of student B1 is hereby denied. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution will be provided to the student and the parent. End of resolution.
Is there a motion on the resolution not to reinstate B1?
Motion to accept.
Dr. Weaver? Motion's yes. Is there support? Support by Mr. Buckaloo. Discussion? Roll call vote, please, Mr. Neal.
Ms. Hines,
Yes.
myself, yes. Dr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo,
Yes.
Miss May,
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht,
Yes.
and President Cox.
I vote yes.
7 yea.
769.20 is a resolution for student reinstatement B2. Mr. Neal, will you please read the resolution?
The resolution reads, whereas the Board of Education for the Wayne Westland Community Schools convened on March 22nd, 2021 to consider the petition for reinstatement filed on behalf of expelled student B2, and to consider the report and recommendation of the Reinstatement Committee previously appointed by the Board of Education. Whereas the Board of Education is persuaded, for the reasons set forth in the Reinstatement Committee's report and recommendation, that student B2 should not be reinstated to the Wayne Westland Community Schools. Therefore, it is resolved that the Reinstatement Committee's report and recommendation is hereby adopted by the Board of Education, and that for the reasons stated therein, the petition for school reinstatement filed on behalf of student B2 is hereby denied. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution will be provided to the student and the parent. End of resolution.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution as read?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Weaver. Is there support? Support by Mr. Buckaloo. Discussion?
I just had one discussion.
Ms. Hines?
Yeah, I just had a couple of things. I've noticed on some of these reports, I'm not saying any names or anything, but mental illness does kind of, cause me some concern because I've known children who are, they don't have their medication, they tend to act out. So sometimes, with the pipeline of prison, I don't like to be so quick to suspend kids, but I understand people have second chances. But, when I was reading some of these stories, I was a little bit concerned about, students having mental illness. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Can I speak to that or not?
Ms. May?
Yes, I would just like to maybe add to what Mrs. Hines is saying, and just one of the concerns or questions that I have in being a new member to the board and understanding the need for restorative practices. And so I just would like for us to have a conversation at some point around that and how we are actually employing restorative practices in our schools. And I don't know the situation, in detail with these. I read the both of the documents that we received, and it's just always hard for me as an educator to say no to reentry for kids. So that's a difficult piece, but I understand there are always extenuating circumstances.
Are there other comments? Mr. Albrecht?
This is always a really difficult decision. Children make mistakes, and their families then have to find ways to accommodate their children as a result. They can apply for reinstatement for at least 150 school days. So these children have already been out of school for a year or more. This doesn't preclude them from being able to apply for reinstatement in the future. But quite often they're very young, and I would say to these children and their families, you still have a lot in front of you. Do what you have to do. Find a way to meet the requirements to be reinstated and apply again.
Thank you, Mr. Albrecht. There's a motion. Support. Dr. Weaver, did you like to make it?
Yeah, I just want to say in the case tonight was not because of what the student had done. It was because that they made no effort to rehabilitate or talk to anyone. So that's the reasoning.
And I can understand that. I just caution
Ms.
us
May?
again. Oh, I'm sorry. No, can I?
Sure.
No? Okay, sorry. I was just saying, I do understand that. I just caution us on our language. We're talking about kids. So when we use the language rehabilitate, that's more of an adult language. And so I just want to make sure that our thinking isn't along the lines of adults versus children. But I understand. And I think it's just a conversation.
And I
Further
like
discussion?
to say one more thing
Ms.
too.
Hines?
And I have noticed that the whole purpose of the climate and culture is for some of our staff members to be able to learn how to work with different ethnic groups. Because a lot of times the kids who tend to get suspended are children of color. That's why they have a problem with the pipeline of prison. So we also have to be adaptive to that to make sure that everybody understands different cultures and knows how to, because a lot of times when there's an African-American kid, they're quick to suspend them than to sit there and talk and find out what the actual problem is. So that can be an issue as well. We have to be very careful that we're not biased when we're suspending our children.
Has everyone spoken that wishes to speak? Roll call vote, please, Mr. Neal.
Myself, yes. Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo?
Yes.
Ms. May?
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. Hines?
Yes.
And President Cox?
Yes.
7 yea.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is 770.20 is Board of Education Committee reports. We're going to begin with the Finance Committee meeting summary. Treasurer Kimberly May. Ms. May?
Thank you. Good evening. The Finance Committee meeting of the Board of Trustees of Wayne Westland Community Schools was held Tuesday, March 9th, 2021, beginning at 4:30 p.m. via Zoom. Mr. Spizak shared with the committee that a market analysis on 2 vacant properties that the district owns, one in Inkster and one in Wayne, was completed by Remax Realty. Mr. Spizak requested approval to sign the letter of agreement for Remax to finalize these sales. Mr. Spizak is seeking approval to move forward with the letter of intent with Lombardi Homes and the City of Westland. The letter of intent will allow Lombardi Homes to determine the feasibility of building homes on the sites, as well as providing learning and career opportunities to our construction tech students. At my request, Mr. Spizak will prepare a presentation for the board in April. Mr. Spizak shared information regarding land in both Inkster and Wayne. Mr. Spizak also informed us that the district is still speaking with the City of Westland regarding an agreement allowing the city 120 days for Plant Moran to assess the Marshall property. The property is not for sale. The district's plan was to demo the property and build homes. Mr. Dignan thanked the SEL task force for their hard work and shared the district has an agreement with CNS Healthcare to provide mental health support for our students. The support is referral based, and currently CNS Healthcare is going into our buildings. They also provide telehealth support. Mr. Spizak again presented a proposal from Zoronex for the strength and training conditioning equipment for Wayne Memorial and John Glenn High Schools. The total cost is $463,320.06. The first installation would occur at Wayne Memorial in December of 2021 and the second installation at John Glenn in August of 2022. Mr. Toko shared a presentation this evening for the board and community. Mr. Spizak shared a change order for the MDF room and is seeking approval. Mr. Carl Vanderzee from Communications by Design shared this change order is for our storage system and processor capacities. This will increase the processing capacity to 65% and the storage capacity of over 40%. Mr. Toko and Ms. Mitter presented a sports program through NFL Flag. The district currently does not offer a variety of sports programs K-8. The program will be exclusive to Wayne Westland Community Schools. The program is also a passage to retain and attract students to the district. Mr. Toko shared, we lose students to surrounding districts due to the lack of program offerings. There are also costs associated with the program, and they are researching various funding options, including sponsorships, state and federal grants. Mr. Wenzel shared additional technology purchases that will be made with Title I funds. The purchases will be presented to the board this evening for approval. Mrs. Cleave shared our cash balance and interest rates still remain low. She is also working with our bank to reduce some of our fees. She also provided our February check register. This information is posted monthly on our district website under our budget transparency page. Mr. Dignan shared that we are unable to open the Finance Committee meetings to the public due to the Open Meetings Act and the number of board members present. If we reach a quorum, we will be in violation. Mr. Dignan also shared the district team is committed to growing academics as well as our sports programs. And finally, each board member recognized the district team for their hard work and commitment to the district, specifically around increasing and retaining our students and families with programs and enhancing our school buildings. The meeting was adjourned at 5:55 p.m. Our next meeting is April 8th at 4:30 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. May. Had a busy meeting.
Yes, we did.
Next item on the agenda is 771.20, which is review and approval of business and finance items. We have several of them. Ms. Cleaves.
Good evening, President Cox, Superintendent Dignan, and the rest of the board. Starting off with the recommendation to approve change order for MDF, I am requesting board approval to issue a change order to an existing contract with Presidio. This change order is for the storage system and processor capacities. Communications by Design, along with Mr. Spizak, reviewed the change order component pricing for compliance with bid amounts and with the general contract pricing provisions. This change will provide increases in processing capacity of approximately 65% and storage capacity increases of over 40%. If approved, the cost for the change order will not exceed $216,579.85 and will be charged to the COVID funds.
Is there a motion on the change order?
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Mr. Albrecht, support by Ms. Hines. Is there discussion? Roll call vote, please, Mr. Neal.
Dr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo,
Yes.
Miss May,
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht,
Yes.
Miss Hines,
Yes.
myself also yes, and President Cox.
Yes.
7 yea.
Item 2, please, Ms. Cleaves.
This will be the recommendation to list vacant properties. I am requesting board approval to list for sale 2 vacant properties that the district has acquired through the city of Inkster and the city of Wayne. Mr. Spizak has worked with Ms. Hillary Stone from RE/MAX to have a market analysis completed on the 2 vacant properties. Currently, the district is incurring monthly costs for maintaining these properties. If approved, both properties will be listed with RE/MAX, and any offers will be brought to the Board of Education for approval.
I understand RE/MAX actually moved quicker than everybody expected.
Yeah.
Offers to consider. Can you help me with that, Mr. Dignan?
Yeah, that is correct. We are asking for, instead of listing it, we've already listed it, but approval to sell the property.
And the board has received copies of that information from RE/MAX. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Mr. Albrecht, support by Ms. Hines. Is there any discussion? Mr. Neal?
Mr. Buckaloo,
Yes.
Miss May,
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht,
Yes.
Miss Hines,
Yes.
myself yes, Dr. Weaver,
Yes.
and President Cox.
And I vote yes, and you can tell RE/MAX we can go just as fast as they want to go.
The next one is a recommendation to purchase interactive panels. I am requesting board approval to purchase 33 interactive panels and carts with installation services. This will be for Taft Galloway Elementary, Hicks Elementary, and Roosevelt McGrath Elementary. Pricing for these items was obtained by the Ramsey Save competitive bid contract and will not exceed $140,000 and will be charged to the building's Title I accounts.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Weaver.
Support.
Support by Mr. Albrecht. Is there discussion? Roll call vote, please, Mr. Neal.
Miss May,
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht,
Yes.
Miss Hines,
Yes.
myself yes, Dr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo, and President Cox.
And I vote yes.
7 yea.
Ms. Cleaves,
The
next item.
is the recommendation to purchase Apple iPads, cases, carts, and Apple Care. I am requesting board approval to purchase 250 iPads with cases and Apple Care protection for Hicks Elementary and 30 iPads and 1 cart for Roosevelt Elementary. Pricing for these items was obtained by the Ramsey Save competitive bid contract and if approved will not exceed $115,000. These purchases will be charged to the building's Title I accounts.
Is there a motion?
Support. I'm sorry.
Motion by Ms. Hines. Is there
Yes.
support?
Motion.
Support.
Sorry.
Support by Dr. Weaver. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please, Mr. Neal.
Mr. Albrecht,
Yes.
Miss Hines,
Yes.
myself yes, Dr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo,
Yes.
Miss May,
Yes.
President Cox.
Yes.
7 yea.
The
Ms.
next
Cleaves?
item is the recommendation to purchase document cameras. I am requesting board approval to purchase 239 document cameras for presentation instructional purposes. Pricing for these items was obtained by the Ramsey Save competitive bid contract and will not exceed $70,000 and will be charged to the building's Title I accounts.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Weaver. Support?
Support.
Support by Ms. May. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please, Mr. Neal.
Miss Hines,
Yes.
myself yes, Dr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo,
Yes.
Miss May,
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht,
Yes.
President Cox.
Yes.
7 yea.
Ms. Cleaves?
The next item is a recommendation to purchase Serenix exercise equipment. I am requesting board approval to purchase the exercise equipment for John Glenn High School and Wayne Memorial High School. This comes as a recommendation by Tony Spizak. The current equipment dates back to the 1980s and is at the end of its useful life. The first installation will occur at Wayne Memorial in December of 2021, and the second installation will occur at John Glenn High School in August of 2022. Plans have been provided for spaces at each high school with itemized equipment lists and pricing. If approved, the amount will not exceed $463,320.06 and will be charged to the 2018 bond fund.
Thank you, Ms. Cleaves. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Albrecht.
Support.
By Ms. Hines. Is there discussion? Roll call vote, please, Mr. Neal.
Myself, yes. Dr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo?
Yes.
Ms. May,
Yes.
Mr. Albrecht,
Yes.
Ms. Hines,
Yes.
President Cox.
Yes.
7 yea.
Thank you, Ms. Cleaves. Next item on our agenda this evening is 772.20, which is the superintendent's report and comment.
Thanks, President Cox. I just want to thank our school community, our parents, students, and staff. We're two-thirds almost done with the school year. And as we know, it's been kind of a roller coaster ride. But again, without the support of our parents and students, I don't think we'd be where we're at right now. And just getting around all the buildings, it's been amazing to see the kids and the energy back in the hallways and everything in the classrooms. The other thing too, I want to just kind of reiterate is we will have other presentations around performing arts and academic clubs, as well as new classes that will be coming into our curriculum. So I want to make sure that everybody understands the same intensity will be shown there as well. And I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Next item on our agenda is 773.20, citizens' comments. This is the portion of the meeting reserved for people who wish to address the board on items that do not appear on tonight's agenda. Is there anyone that would like to address the board on anything at all?
You do not have any hands up right now. Oh, we just had one hand come up. Michelle Sample.
Michelle, go ahead.
Yes, just I don't want to call it procedural, but when you guys do ask, when the board asks for citizens' comments, you really should leave a little bit more. You used to do it in the beginning for technical issues. I tried to get on last time, and this time I was pressing the button. It's not working that quickly, and you were going on. So please keep that in mind when you're moving forward until we come back to in-person meetings, hopefully soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the board?
No, sir.
Okay, well, we will move on to review and recommendations. Members of the Board of Education, Ms. Hines?
Yes, I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. I'd like to thank the hard dedication. I remember Mr. Spizak when I was over at Wayne Memorial High School. And I mean, you have been such an amazing, oh my gosh, just present. Your work with the bond. I mean, Maria, everyone with the transportation, finance. I thank everyone. You guys have made this school district amazing. It's going to be better. We're going to get more kids. We're going to, one thing I love about Dr. Dignan, I was able to go to a couple of the meetings about the STEM for the girls with the Detroit Engineering Society. So he is really working hard to help our kids have alternative programs. We work with a couple other groups in the community with STEM. And one thing I do wish that we would let a lot of our community members know is about our dual enrollment programs that we have at Schoolcraft College and Wayne County Community College. So I'm so excited to really get into the performing arts, get our sports teams back, because that's what brings a really nice district. When you have good sports team, it brings more kids to the school or the school district to go to universities and recruiting as well. So I'm really thankful for that. And I think I have one more thing. And another thing too, like about safety, and I definitely can understand a lot of people, you know, wanting the children to come back 5 days a week. One thing people have to understand is we have 6 different communities in our school district. So, I mean, we have to look at those as well. I mean, like I work out in Gibraltar. That's a totally different school district than Wayne Westland. It's a small rural community. So if you're a small rural, it's easier to do that. And then even with the social distancing, in the classrooms, there's no way you can do 6 feet of social distancing with the objects in the classroom. And even in high school, there's thousands of kids at the high school. So, I mean, we're definitely working, you know, in that direction, but it just takes time. We have to work with our kids. I'm glad they're doing a hybrid because my son, you know, he was out of school for like a whole year, just like a lot of other parents. So I get it on the parents aspect. I get it as the children for social emotional because that's very important. And at the same time, we got to think about our staff members. So it's a lot of different considerations. And like with this virus, it just keeps changing. I understand we're going to have it for a while, but still, you know, we just have to roll with the punches. And Dr. Dignan and his staff has done such an amazing job of keeping our staff members and our children safe. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Mr. Albrecht.
Thank you, President Cox. I won't take a whole lot of time, but Mr. Dignan, you took over a pretty rough time. I don't know that I've ever seen this much activity take place in this short a period of time, and they've done it in the middle of all of this. Please, on my behalf, thank all the people that have made all the presentations. And I do want to thank the members of the community that have joined us tonight. Your comments will be taken seriously by us. I think that's important. You need to have that forum and keep coming. So we'll give you that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Albrecht. Mr. Buckaloo.
Thank you, President Cox. Mr. Albrecht, your opening comment was right on target. It truly was. I would like to take the time to thank all of our presenters tonight. I was just thinking about the K-8 athletics proposal by Mr. Toko. It's going to be a welcome addition to the extracurricular activities offerings that we make to our younger students. It also promises to be a valuable tool in retaining Wayne Westland students. I think in an earlier presentation, Mr. Toko, you said somewhere at the end of the later L, at the beginning of the middle school program, parents and students begin to make that decision on whether or not they're going to stay with a particular school district or look for something of an alternative nature. We can put a hook into these kids with these kinds of activities. We're looking at flag football, but we're also looking at co-ed competitive cheer and just the whole gambit of programs at elementary and at middle school level. I think that that's going to have a much better impact on holding our students than the statistics that you cited, Mr. Toko. Not that there was anything wrong with your statistics. The purchase of the strength and conditioning equipment presented by both Mr. Toko and by Mr. Spizak, I think that purchase is long overdue. I do remember when that stuff that we're saying well past its age of serviceability was brand new. In fact, I remember when the other set of equipment looked pretty darn good to me. But time goes on and these things do wear and they do need to be replaced. And this Sonex proposal is just state of the art. There's no getting around that. And I'm much impressed by the fact that these weights and this exercise room in each of the high schools is going to be first for our classrooms and it's going to be available on a coeducational basis. And only after that it's going to be available to our athletic teams. And that impresses me a great deal. I think Ms. Lyons did a great job of explaining the boundary changes that are going to take place for our residents in the current Hoover district. I think it was detailed, I think it was timely, and I think that parents who are going to be affected by those changes have ample time to consider what those changes are going to be. So thank you, Ms. Lyons, for your presentation tonight. And as always, Mr. Dignan, thank you for your ECHO presentation, your plan. It's not nearly the most glamorous thing on the agenda tonight. It's statistics, it's data, it's fill in the blank with information that's been gathered, but it's important. It's absolutely important. And if we don't do it, if we don't get it right, we're going to be in a world of hurt. So thank you, Mr. Dignan, and all of the people that contributed to the development of that plan. Last week, I had the pleasure of attending a couple of important meetings. One of them was at the Head Start Parent and Policy meeting. Just as our regular Wayne Westland students, Head Start is coming back under a hybrid model. And because they are, they need to adjust their policies. And the meeting that I sat in on last week allowed them to address 4 of their policies. Now, try to give you some of the flavor. The 4 policies that they addressed range from topics like classroom environment to a center-based home visits program, to teacher conferences, and to transition services for students who are moving from Head Start to perhaps a kindergarten or similar program elsewhere. Also, as most of you should know at this point, Dr. Randy Liepa is retiring from Wayne County RESA. It's effective this summer, and MASB has been hired to lead the superintendent's search. Each of us as school board members in Wayne County have been invited to a focus group to help determine the qualities and the skills that the new ISD superintendent is going to need. I participated in the first of 2 of those meetings on Wednesday, I believe it was, and board members countywide are going to have an additional opportunity to make their feelings known about qualities and skills this Friday at 3 p.m. via Zoom. And with that, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Buckaloo. Ms. May?
Thank you. I would like to first thank Mr. Spizak and Mr. Toko for their presentations this evening. I think that it's very important, not only for the board, but for our community and our students to see what's coming down the pipeline. It gets them excited, and it keeps our, as you said, it helps to retain students. It helps to also attract students and to attract families. One of the things that I'm looking forward to with the strength and conditioning rooms, as well as with the athletic opportunities for students in K-8, is improved social emotional learning. I know you talked a lot about what the K-8 athletic programs can do, as well as the strength and conditioning room. But I think we also need to talk about how it impacts social emotional learning, how it impacts the culture and climate, and also how it can help to reduce suspensions. Like, all of those things are important, and all of those things can happen through those programs. So I appreciate that coming forth. I'm looking forward, Mr. Dignan, to what's coming down the line for academics. I know that you know that that's important. We all know that that's important, and I appreciate all of the work that you're doing. Each piece is step by step. I also would like to thank the discipline hearing committee, is what I'm going to call it. That may not be the correct title, but I know that that's not easy to sit and to hear the reentry pleas and to make those decisions. So I want to just say thank you for your work with that. And President Cox, you and I have talked about having board workshops to talk about some of these things. And so I think just through our discussion, we're seeing the importance of having those conversations. I think it's important for me as a new board member. And so I'd like to just kind of put that out there, that we move forward with those conversations.
We have that scheduled next month, do we not?
What's that?
Board workshop?
Yes, April 10th. Yep.
Yes. I know we have the one, but just saying, because we
Very
talked
important.
about having those conversations.
Right.
So
For all
thank
of
you.
us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ms. May. I certainly agree. Mr. Neal?
Yes, well, this evening we've heard quite a number of presentations about wonderful programs that we have coming and wonderful equipment we have coming. And a lot of it was presented with the idea that it's going to help us retain students and maybe bring some students back into our district. And for that, I'm very, very pleased. We are going to have some of the most beautiful buildings and the most wonderful programs of any district around. But just as much as that, I think that return to 5-day a week education will also work to serve us in bringing students back, or retaining students, not just bringing them back physically as saying you can all come to school, but I'm talking about some students are sitting home, some parents are sitting home saying, you know, we may go to a different district, because then they can go to 5-day schooling in a different district. I think we are working in that direction. It's going to happen soon. And I know that with the guidance of Mr. Dignan, who's always working on behalf of our district, that this is going to happen. Mr. Rose, when he spoke during the citizens' comments, I was sort of cheering inside with each of the points that you made. I believe in everything that you've said, and I believe that it's a time that it's time we need to look at returning very soon, and that's a discussion the board will have very soon. I also listened to the concerns about academic programs, not just sports programs. And I know that Mr. Dignan is also very focused on that as well. And you can be reassured that our wonderful superintendent will guide us nicely in this near future and serve us well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. Dr. Weaver.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I like the athletic presentation. I would really like to see our children identified early in their school careers that maybe have a penchant for baseball or for football, whether they're playing on a league or whatever, that we might bring them into our programs. We're going to a game on Friday nights. We want to win. So, identifying those students and I just wanted to say a word about the strength and conditioning. I've seen people that have exercised. I never have personally. I don't want that to affect me in any way. But I saw weights, and weights are good, and weights are for strength and conditioning, and that's what you're doing. Maybe we could get some of those great big ropes in there and stuff like that to speak to other conditioning needs as well, instead of just focusing on having big arms. It's just a thought. Almost everyone on the board has talked about the incredible job that our superintendent is doing. And I want to be a part of that as well. It's really nice to go in to see the superintendent and to try to talk to him about something. And before you get there, he's already been there. I noticed that about him. I also know that we have a lot of new people in our district that are in new positions, that are working together. And my understanding is that they're falling in line with what we're doing and taking control of their offices. And I just want to say I appreciate that too, because we are somewhat rebuilding, and I'm thankful that Wayne Westland, as far as I'm concerned, is a top community district, and so I want to thank everyone that works for Wayne Westland. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Weaver. And I guess I'm going to jump on and echo those comments and the comments of Mr. Albrecht. When Tony Spizak said that Superintendent Dignan came and said that we need to do something about these recreational offerings, and we need to do something right now. He said that amidst the response to a pandemic mere months after taking the job, where members of the Board of Education know that is just one of the initiatives that this superintendent is currently working on. There is a remarkable synergy going on in this school district. In spite of all of these challenges, things are very much moving forward. It's going to be an exciting summer, and next year is going to be exciting as the public begins to learn about all the positive things that this tireless superintendent is doing. And sir, thank you. Thank you to your team, who many of whom I know, and I know that they're only too eager to work and work hard in order to accomplish the kind of things they were able to talk about tonight. When you're a member of the board, every once in a while, you have to deal with an expulsion issue. It's not a comfortable thing to deal with. We had to deal with it twice tonight. And the comments made by members of the board about the individuals involved it's very pertinent. And, you know, most of us are parents, we understand these realities. But I'm going to ask everyone to consider that the students that were expelled weren't the only students that were affected by the behaviors that caused this. There was 28 or 30 or 35 other students who had to put up with whatever it was that was going on that resulted in this action tonight. So the Board of Education it's appropriate to think about the student who's being expelled, but it's also appropriate to think about the innocent kids who are dealing with that. They didn't bring it on themselves. When tonight the recreational offerings were made, they talked, Mr. Toko and Mr. Spizak spoke time and time again of the return on investment effect of the FTEs. And I want you to know, I really appreciate you looking at things that way. But the students of this community, or the taxpayers of this community, they approved a bond issue and an enhancement millage, both of which made it clear that we were going to put these things in place. We were going to do these things. They knew exactly what the bond issue was for, and they approved it. So what we're doing quickly is exactly what they want us to do. The gentleman that called in tonight and asked about the metrics, in fact, Ms. Hines even mentioned that there are complexities associated with returning to school in a school district of this size. It's as if you're watching a long train where the engine starts moving, but the caboose is still stationary. And in many ways, a school district this size that's exactly what we're dealing with. But the fact that we're all sitting here at a board meeting and the man calls in with some, really, I'd like to sit down and have a conversation with him. This isn't the place to do it. If someone were to call the administration office and want to have a conversation about just that, is there someone for them to talk to at our school district, Mr. Dignan?
Yeah, they can call in and I can discuss it with them with the metrics and walk them through it.
So there's no reason to be frustrated time and time again. There are many issues, and I'm only too happy to discuss it at length. It just at this meeting is not the best place to do that. The last thing that I'd like to mention this evening is Dr. Randy Liepa. Yes, we're very much in a rebuilding phase right now. Our school district has been through some very challenging times, but we're through those times now. We're in a much better place and headed in a much better direction. And one of the large reasons why we have been successful as we are is because we had Dr. Randy Liepa to count on to help us with direction, to put us in touch with people who could help us. He's done a remarkable job for this school district. I can only guess that he's been the same type of leader for every other school district in RISA. But as president, dealing with these things, I don't know what I would have done without him. So I hope he has a wonderful retirement. He certainly deserved it. And we appreciate in Wayne Westland all he has done for us over the years. With that, I will thank everyone for coming this evening and entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Weaver, support?
Support.
Support by Ms. May. Roll call vote, please, Mr. Neal.
Mr. Albrecht?
Yes.
Ms. Hines?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
Mr. Buckaloo?
Yes.
Ms. May?
Yes.
President Cox?
Thank you all. We are adjourned.